Everyone has a bright light inside of them that deserves to be seen by the world. That's why it's time to shine the light on the extraordinary who are accomplishing phenomenal things. This is the Shine Out Loud Show with Lillian Ogbogo.
Good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are, and welcome to another episode of the Shine Out Loud Show with me, Lillian Ogbogo. Now, this afternoon, I am bringing you the editor-in-chief, or should I say the queen in charge of Qweens Magazine, Elizabeth Oloidi, journalist, actress, well-traveled nomadic woman who is changing the discussion about what the beauty standards is with her brand new online magazine that focuses on dark-skinned women who are, in her own words, are sometimes forgotten in the beauty and the beauty conversation on print and in images. So join me and welcome Elizabeth Oloidi. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I am great. So now we are talking about your brand new magazine, which has been around for just over a year, called Qweens Beauty Magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And you decided to create a platform for dark-skinned people of color in the beauty industry. So let's jump in and start and jump into this really quickly. How did you go from being actress, journalist, student, creator to becoming the editor-in-chief of an online magazine?
Well, it all started as a school project, actually. As part of my journalism degree, I had to start a magazine. And when the semester was over, I was like, this is awesome. This is dope. Why not continue it? And I've been getting such amazing feedback from people saying, like, this is something that we've been wanting to see in the media. And it's something that is really important for the next generation. So I was like, why can't I be that change that I want to see in the world? So that's how Qweens came about.
Okay. And I like this idea because, yes, we do need more of that. We do need more of a varied conversation. And so when you're looking at fashion, when you're looking at the beauty industry, why did you pick on fashion as this is my area, this is the area I want to connect with and write on?
Because I have a passion for fashion and beauty. I sort of, actually, like when I started with Qweens, I was on my journey of finding, like, of self-discovery and figuring out what makes me beautiful. And so I think you can kind of see that from, like, early works and stuff that I've written about, like, going natural, about finding the right shade of makeup. Because growing up in Europe, it was hard to find foundations that matched my skin tone. And I didn't really see myself represented anywhere. I went to schools and I was often the only Black girl in the school, in my grade. So I was like, I don't want anyone else to ever feel like that and ever feel like an other. I want to feel included in a conversation that's supposed to be inclusive, not exclusive. So why not start something that will be at the forefront of such a powerful movement and will start a conversation that's so important to have and that's often kind of left on the back burner. Like, oh yeah, we'll, like, throw in, like, one person just to keep you quiet about diversity. And it's like, no, we can't just have one person as, like, the token, person of color in any form of media. We need to have more representation because there's not just one Black person on the face of the earth or one dark-skinned person on the face of the earth. There are more than one. So why can't we also be celebrated and be found beautiful in our own way?
I like that idea. And yes, we do need to be celebrated because the diversity conversation, and when we look at Black women, there's not just one representation of Black women. We come in so many shades, from the palest pale to the darkest dark. And there is room for that conversation to happen.
Yes.
So, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. And I don't know why people think that there is one, like, mold of a Black woman in this world. I don't know why that's been upheld as a standard that it's good enough, so be quiet. Like, no, it's not good enough. We want more. And we have a right to just, like, ask for more and create more. So why not?
Okay. So you're creating this magazine. It's an online magazine in the world of, instead that is inundated with blogs and information. Why the medium of a magazine?
Well, as a journalist, I've always wanted to write for a magazine. So I felt that it was what I knew and it was what I was learning at the time. So why not put what I'm learning to practice and put in my skills as a writer and an editor? Also, I feel like a magazine is a good starting point, because it allows for different people with different voices and different experiences to come together in one piece of work that we can flip through and see all these different stories being told. And then it can be like a jumping point for something else, like maybe like a TV show or something, or who knows? I feel like it's a good platform. It's a good media platform to start with.
Okay. So, in the very beginning, I described you as a nomadic woman, and you have lived, and when I say nomadic, I'm not being funny. You've lived in quite a few places.
Yes.
So you've been in Geneva, you've been in quite a few. Tell me, how many countries have you lived in your time?
7 countries.
Okay. Which is your favorite?
I always get asked this question and I never know how to answer because each place has its own unique things that made me love it or dislike it. I'm quite enjoying my time in Canada right now. I love being able to live in a country finally, except for Nigeria, of course, that English is the first language. So when I go to the store, I know exactly what I'm going to find. I don't have to translate it. I don't have to ask someone for help. I know how to get around. All the signs are in English. So I think that's something that I didn't realize I really missed by moving around a lot.
Okay. All right. So we've established that, you're nomadic, and you, as a Black woman, that experience of being in all of these places, and how has that actually made your magazine different from other Black magazines, other magazines that feature women of color? How has that experience, for a better choice of words, colored your experience in how you create the magazine?
I think because I'm looking at things from a global sense. I don't try to limit the stories I tell to just one group of people. I try to be as inclusive as possible because I've had the pleasure of meeting different people with different stories to tell. So why not use my voice to tell those stories in an inclusive way? So I think that's what makes it a little different because I'm trying to be global with my outreach and storytelling.
I like that. I like the fact that it's not just for you, it's part of your medium of telling stories and actually saying we exist in all of these places that you think that we don't.
Yeah.
Okay. So looking at the magazine, the one thing I absolutely love about what you do, and if anybody doesn't know Queen Magazine, they should connect with you on Instagram and Twitter. And what I love is your feature where you feature a person for the week. Why did you start doing that, and what inspired that?
That idea was actually given to me by the PR maven Ronke Lawal. She basically said, this is a good way to highlight queens who are doing their own thing. And a lot of the times they won't get the recognition that they deserve. And I was like, yes, that's so true. So why not start something that's going to celebrate people who are killing it in their own right and give them a platform to basically say, yes, I'm doing this and I'm awesome at it, and give themselves a pat on the back.
You know what? I absolutely love Ronke Lawal, and she gets around in interesting places, doesn't she?
Mm-hmm. She sure does.
All right. So I absolutely, that is a great piece, because I think the more we have women acknowledged for the work that they do, the more we have people being able to see them. And your platform is really, really great for that. And I'm not just saying because I was featured myself.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I'm glad that clicked with you, because I do want that. I want someone to come on our page and see here's a queen doing her own thing. Maybe I can do my own thing and start paving another route for the next generation. And I love that my platform can be a platform of representation in that sense, that can inspire change.
Exactly, and I think it's actually doing just that, and it's actually, you're every day I go in and I see what you post, and I'm actually quite inspired because I think for a woman of your age to say, hey, you know what, I'm not going to be quiet about this conversation. I am actually going to create something that says, you will not ignore me. You will not ignore the fact that this is important, not just to me, but to others that look like me. I have to take my hat off to you.
Thank you. Thank you. I often think like, oh, am I too young to start a magazine? Like, do I really know what I'm doing? But to hear that, thank you so much. That makes me feel so good, and it pushes me to keep going forward, because there are people out there who are wishing and hoping that they could see themselves represented and celebrated in media. So if I can do that, I definitely will, and no one is going to silence my voice.
Awesome. Love that. And let's kind of stretch this out a bit, because right now, to be quite fair, this year, 2018, has been very interesting with some really fantastic movies representing women of color. And I have to say, with the Black Panther movie that came out, what would you say, we're a few months out from the Black Panther phenomenon, but what would you say that movie has done for Black women of color and also dark-skinned women of color?
It's amazing. It was just amazing. I think that it kind of gave us the confidence boost that we needed to say, like, hey, we see you, you're beautiful, you are warriors, you're strong, and you're worthy of the representation, of the celebration. And so I think that movies like Black Panther and even Napoli Ever After that recently came out, 3 weeks ago, okay. Movies like that, I think just seeing a story that we all know so well, having to go to the hairdresser every week and relax or straighten our hair and dealing with that aftermath, and then finally realizing, like, hey, I kind of just want to let my hair grow the way God intended it to grow on my head. It's really powerful and amazing, and I'm so happy that we're finally seeing this shift in the conversation that Black women have a voice, and we're creatives, and we are awesome, and we're inspirations, and we deserve to be represented in media in all aspects. So when Black Panther came out, I was like, I have to go see it, because I've never seen a movie with so many dark-skinned women ever. And they're like
warriors.
Strong.
They were strong, and they were not vilified for it. I think for me that was incredible. They were not vilified or made to be the almost like
a caricature.
Yes, I mean, I remember the first time I saw a really strong Black woman, and she was a henchwoman. And I'm talking about Grace Jones when she was featured in the Bond movies, and it's like They were warriors. They were respected, but also what I also liked was a dynamic that they're warriors, they're smart, but they're also lovers and can be loved. It was a complete view of what a woman is and chooses to be.
Yes.
So I thought that was quite incredible. And, looking at you started this magazine. What has been the trappings that you found as being an editor to create this magazine, and what are the lessons that you have learned in the time that you've had the magazine?
I think not everyone is going to agree with your opinion, and that's fine, because it's yours. They can't take that away from you. And I've also learned that sometimes you think that a story isn't worth telling, but every story is worth telling. You just have to find a way to tell it. There's some times that I'm like, oh, should I even talk about this? Shouldn't I? And I'm like, yes, it's important. Talk about it. Do it. Say it. Don't hold back, because someone out there is going to relate to it, and someone out there is going to thank you for telling this story. So that's something that I've kind of learned along the way.
Okay, and that's very powerful, because I think we especially, and I'm saying this and I'm using the we royally, but we as Black women, whatever our shade is, we have been used to being silenced or maybe silence is the wrong word, but more controlled in what we say.
Yes.
Oh, we shouldn't say this because, we shouldn't say this that way because, and
Or we
now,
can't be too emotional.
exactly. I mean, let's not even talk about 2018 and look at what happened with Serena Williams. And
Yep.
not that the situation was wrong, was, oh, she shouldn't have reacted like that. She shouldn't be emotional. It was not, well, this person did wrong and she's entitled to her feelings.
Yes.
So, and I think that's the thing. Your magazine is actually giving voice to the voiceless. Let's not just talk about the beauty standard, but you're giving voice to the voiceless, those who have not known that they can use your voice.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so, I am fascinated about the magazine industry and also where this can go, because we are in the world of constantly moving everything, feeding information in a vast way. Where do you think that we as women of color need to start speaking up when we say we want representation? Where do you think the onus is on us to say this is what we want to see?
I feel like when people say media, we think of like one form of media, but media is everything if you think about it. So I think that anywhere you can speak up, you're doing yourself justice. Even in the workplace, if you feel like you're being discriminated against, like say something. It doesn't mean that you should go in and like trash the place and be like, I feel like you're not hearing me. No, like we can be mature about it in a way that can get our point across without, unfortunately, being labeled the angry Black woman, which I hate. I hate that stereotype because we have a right to be angry. But sometimes we just need to know how to deal with it. But I think that anywhere you can, in any way, shape, or form, whether it's by volunteering to work with the youth and building them up in your community, or even in work, like leading like projects and doing your own thing and finding ways to be your own person any way you can and use your voice any way you can. It doesn't really matter how you do it, just as long as you know that you are fighting for yourself constantly, because who else will?
Exactly. But also in between that fighting, sometimes, because there is that expectation that we're the ones that are always going to fight, we're the ones that's always going to speak up in certain situation, it's actually okay at the same time for us to say, you know what, today I'm going to take care of myself and be absolutely quiet. I'm going to take care of myself and say, I don't want to fight. I don't want to be part of a fighting conversation. I just want to be me. And also there's that need for us to be able to claim our spaces as individuals.
Of course. Yes. Oh, yes. I don't know if you've been watching Insecure lately, but anytime there's a diversity issue, they always look at Issa as in her workplace as like the one, like the token Black person to speak up for all injustices. And it's like, no, that's not what I'm here for. If I feel like I want to say something, I definitely will, and you can't keep me quiet. But if I don't feel like it's my responsibility to tell you something that's supposed to be common sense, I don't have to. And so I think it's finding that balance between knowing when to keep fighting and knowing, like listening to yourself and being like, I don't have the energy for this. I'm not going to exert any energy and like strain myself to make people listen to me when they don't want to, or when I just don't feel like it. Like, I feel like Black women have been the symbol of fighting and like civil rights and movement.
Yes.
When I think of movements, I think Black women. And sometimes it does get tiring, because every day it's another fight. It's another thing. It's either sexism or racial injustices. It's another thing that we're constantly battling. But it's good for your mental health as well to just take some time away from it and just do things that make you happy, and just remember that you, above anything else, are your own individual. You're a human being, which means that, yes, you have human emotions, but also you don't have to be a warrior for the whole world.
Yes, and sometimes it's just okay to put the fight down and just do you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So
live your best life.
Exactly. And Yeah, we need to have those moments, and it's very important. And I love all the features that you did on the mental health day, because it's a great reminder, because I think especially Black women, that we sometimes deny ourselves the room to kind of take care of ourselves on that level.
Yes. And you're gonna make mistakes. Mistakes are a part of life. You're not perfect. No one's perfect. So you know you've made a mistake, you move on, don't beat yourself up about it, and you move on and you learn from it and you continue to push forward. And I think that a lot of times we're not allowing Black women to make mistakes, which is ridiculous. Because anytime a Black woman makes a mistake, it's like the biggest thing in the whole world. And then you get people making horrible characterizations of it and calling it meltdowns across the media. And it's like, no, sometimes we can have emotional days. We're humans. We have emotions. We have feelings. They get hurt. We may lash out once in a while, but we'll move on from it and collect ourselves and keep going. We can't keep holding on to that and say, oh, no, I acted irresponsibly or whatever. No, you acted like a human would, and that's fine.
Do you think the idea of the strong Black woman, Black magic, do you think all of that feels on the back end, this idea that Black women cannot are afraid to actually be human?
Yes, I think so. Even, I understand where the Black girl magic term, obviously, we do have Black girl magic. We're doing our thing. We're beautiful in it, in our own rights, yes. But at the same time, we need to understand that Black girl magic isn't just perfection. It's not, perfectly laid edges. It's not perfectly defined curls. It's also wearing sweatpants with my hair up in a bun, my edges not laid, and I'm just chilling on the couch doing my thing. That's Black girl magic, too, because it's recognizing that that's something that I need for my sanity, to make so that I can continue spreading my magic everywhere I go.
Okay.
Because you can't spread magic if you run out of it by constantly thinking that you're going to have to be perfect every second of the day. It's too much energy.
I absolutely agree with you, because if you from my perspective, if I have a love-hate thing going on with the concept of the Black girl magic, because for me, I think it can stop others who are Black young girls or Black women who feel, well, there's nothing magical about me. I don't have, then therefore they're stuck in that space of feeling like I can't compete. I can't, do what they do because it's on a level of magic. But also that, in my estimation, and this is my opinion, is that when we start, and I understand where it came from and I understand the usage, but when we start saying Black girl magic for the work that we produce, for the work we bring into the world, it's somehow, again, in my viewpoint, denying us our humanity, because it takes away the idea that we struggle to create. It's our blood, sweat, and tears in our creation. We had to learn this. We fell and got up in this process, because when you start saying Black girl magic and it's used all the time whenever we do anything, then it denies us that, hey, you know what, I had to do this. It's from within me. It didn't just magically happen.
Yes, and I 100% agree with that, because it seems like Black girl magic is only used in terms of excellence and celebration. And I saw a tweet a few months ago that said, why is it only Black excellence? Why don't we just talk about Black mediocrity?
True.
Sometimes we have mediocre days where we're just like, ugh, I'm not inspired. I feel like I just want to chill. I don't want to constantly be on. And that's part of it too. That's part of your magic.
Well,
and I think it's just about,
go ahead.
I think it's just about changing how we view what Black girl magic is. Because I think that the days that I'm stuck editing and stuck with writer's block is part of my Black girl magic, because I'm still doing what I'm doing. It's just that it may not be perfect. It may not be a finished product, but because I am doing it, it's good enough.
And that makes sense, because again, we need to know we have mediocre days and we have bad days, because it's part of our human experience. And
exactly.
And I think the reason we also, have to kind of work very hard because we're fighting the stereotype that we don't do anything great. So there's the fight to produce excellence all the time.
Mm-hmm. And it's like almost like we have to overproduce and overcompensate to prove that we are good enough. And that gets tiring. I know I'm good enough. I don't have to prove it to you. It's your business if you don't want to believe that I'm good enough. That's on you. I know that I'm good. I know that even in my mediocre days, I'm good enough. And that's what we need to keep reminding ourselves, that we don't always have to be perfect. We don't always have to be on point, that we're good enough. We're worthy. We're fine just the way we are. And that even though the world tells us you can only be viewed as an excellent Black person if you produce everything, if you become the president of a country, or if you start your own media empire. No, you know what's also awesome and what's also part of Black excellence? Getting up and out of bed in the morning.
Yes.
Going outside, breathing, eating. That's all part of it, part of being human. And so we just have to constantly remind ourselves that I got out of bed this morning. I made it out the house. That's good enough.
And that's very important. So, looking at around, you've had a very background. Who inspires you?
My mom. It might sound cliche, but my mom is honestly one of the strongest women I've ever known in my life. And every day I do things, it's with her in mind.
Oh, that's
she may not
lovely.
know this. So if my mom's listening, by the way, Mom, you are my inspiration and role model. And I just hope that I could be half the woman that she is, because seeing her do her thing and still killing it is amazing. And having her by my side as I'm like going on this journey with Qweens is anything I could have asked for. She's the behind the scenes.
Oh, that is absolutely lovely. So she's the queen of the queen.
Yeah, she's the queen of the queen.
Love that. And yeah, sometimes we forget that there's nothing cliched about it. We have this idea that our inspiration should be everybody else out there, but sometimes it is those people right there close to us who are, as you say, slaying their lane constantly that we need to also acknowledge.
Yeah.
So as a writer, as a creative, how do you get over your creative block?
Oh, that I'm kind of in a little bit of a creative block right now. What I've done is just, I kind of look at other like writers and people's work that I look up to. I look at them and see what they're kind of doing. Also, if I'm having a creative block, it's usually because I'm thinking about what I think people want to see instead of what I want to do. And because I'm starting my own thing, I have the complete control over what I choose to do and what stories I choose to write. So it's kind of just returning back to a space of, okay, when I was 10 years old, what would I have wished to see in a magazine or read or seen represented in the media in any way, shape, or form? And then run with whatever ideas come to mind.
Okay. So that's fine. And you know what? And I think what I love is your honesty there, saying, yes, I have blocks. Yes, they come up and I work through it. And also you actually pointed out something, because you said, when these blocks come up are usually because you are busy looking out to see what others are doing. And in the era of social media where comparison analysis is on hyperdrive, how do you deal with that personally for you?
Yes, I just had a conversation with myself about this yesterday, because I was looking at on Instagram and I was like, all these other people, they're doing it. They're posting more than I am. They have way more content than me. Like, why am I slacking? And it's like, no, you're not slacking. You're just going at your own pace. And that's it. Just go at your own pace, because someone else is probably going through the same thing as you. You don't want to take on their problems too. So just go at your own pace and just keep doing what you're doing. And that's all you can really give yourself, because at the end of the day, it's you. It's for you. You're doing it yourself. No one else is going to do it for you. So you might as well just go at a pace that's comfortable for you, so you don't wear yourself out and have a breakdown. And that's kind of what I have to keep telling myself.
And that's very important. I think we all have to tell ourselves that, because it's so easy to get sucked in, and you find yourself on Instagram and you're scrolling, and you're like, okay, so clearly I have been adulting wrong my entire life, and I need to lay down, because you actually it does kind of eat into your psyche.
It does. It does. And it's good to take social media breaks, because it's a lot of information coming at you at once. So it's good to just take a break, take a breather, live in the real world for a minute, and then you can come back to it. Because if you consume too much of what we see through social media, which, by the way, isn't all real, it's really going to start affecting your personal image and how you see yourself. And it's never healthy to base your the ideas of yourself on how other people are portraying themselves. Like, that's never healthy. Comparing yourself to someone else is never, I mean, it could be healthy in terms of like, okay, I want to keep going, I want to keep grinding, yes. But when it starts getting to the point where it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm not good enough, I'm like not smart enough, these people are doing better than me, that starts to really get detrimental to you reaching the levels of success you want to get to. So I think it's good to just take some time to be like, okay, you're doing great, acknowledge that. Yes. Well done, good for you. But me, myself, and I need to take a break, and I'm going at my pace, and that's perfectly fine as well.
You know what? And that is where the power comes from, because you said something where, you know, sometimes all the stuff out on social media is not real. My personal bugbear right now is this is my morning face Instagram messages, and I'm like, especially when I see women of color do it, I'm like, stop the damn lies, because you went to bed with your hair out and all of that. Stop the damn lies. You've crawled out of bed, you've brushed your hair, taken off the headscarf, put something on, and you're lying back in bed like, you know what? Don't let me come for you. It's too early in the morning for these level of lies.
Woke up like this, the flawless challenge.
Yeah.
I know you're wearing, like, I know that you've got like Anastasia dip brow on your eyebrows. Like, I know you're wearing mascara. Like, come on now. Like, let's not do this to ourselves.
If we really want to do the flawless challenge, I woke up like this, let's everybody take a selfie first thing in the morning, then we'll see what the real deal is. You know, even Beyonce, I dare Beyonce to do that real deal challenge. Like, go ahead, girl, with your headscarf on and everything. Let's see it.
Let's see it, and let's make that normal. Like, I wish people would do that and normalize that, because that's how we wake up in the morning. That's who we are naturally. So why isn't that celebrated? It's the makeup and everything, and it's kind of weird. People are probably thinking, aren't you a beauty writer? Yes, I love makeup, but also I think it's important to appreciate our natural selves, just the way we are.
Exactly. And, you know, you remember the foray that happened when Alicia Keys came out and attended an award ceremony with no makeup on. You will think that this woman had come out riding a sheep with 10 heads and, you know,
honestly,
slaughtering a baby.
She was like naked. I thought she came on the red carpet naked.
Exactly.
They were like naked. I was like, what? And then I was like, she's not wearing makeup? Really? Like, this is news? Why?
It was news for so long. Oh my God, did you see how she looked? Everybody had something to say. And the girl's like, wait, but this is my face.
Yeah, and everyone tried to make it be like, okay, well, there's no way that she's not like wearing even a little bit of makeup. Okay, maybe she's wearing a little bit of makeup. That makes her feel fine. Like, it's fine. It's whatever she chooses to do. That's fine. I don't know why we're trying to make such a big deal about a woman who decided not to do a full face of glam for a red carpet. She still showed up, right?
Exactly. She turned up. She was there. She was acknowledged.
She did her part. I don't know what else we want. Like, what else do you need?
People are incredibly, especially when it comes to, I think, Black women, because I am not sure it would have gotten the same level of scrutiny if it was a woman of another background.
Oh, yes, of course. I think that it wouldn't have been that. It would have been like she came natural. Oh, like, that's amazing. I wish more people would do this. Instead of, why would she do that? That's so weird. How could you leave your house looking like that? Because it's her natural face. That's how.
Oh, that was just ridiculous. And, at the same time, a black woman is daring to show her natural face. We have women who are being paid over the odds and ends, and what they are portraying to the world as being their real face has been reconstructed, deconstructed so many times. I'm sure they don't recognize themselves in the mirror. And I'm not going to call names because the list is long.
Oh, yeah.
The list is long.
Oh, yeah.
Dr.
Miami definitely got his chunk of money from a lot of women coming from social media just to look exactly like these people that they're trying to portray. It's scary a little bit because there are people who are going under surgery, and surgery is always dangerous to try and change themselves. And I just all I think about is when I have a daughter, I just pray that I can teach her that, listen, what people will always have something to say. And though that's sad, they will. You're not going to please everybody. If you please yourself, that is all that matters.
And this is true. And, and when we talk about, especially the beauty industry, it seems like we are somehow vilified to want to show our real face and how we really show up. But, we've had some questions come in for you, Elizabeth. We have a question from Norman that says, what was the inspiration behind deconstructing outfits and finding reasonably priced alternatives in your blog?
Oh, yes, because, as a student, you're on a budget, and I don't want to spend $1,000 on makeup that I don't wear every single day. So finding new, other options, or even clothes, finding other options that are cheaper, that are more affordable, that still make you feel good is what I'm all about. I'm all about being a thrifty trendsetter.
I like that. Okay, so another question has come in, and this one I think is really up your street, because it's like, what are your thoughts on the recent explosion of makeup lines, properly including darker ladies of color?
It's about time. What took you so long? I really don't know what took. Honestly, I wish I could go to every single makeup line that's just finally starting to include dark skin women in the shade ranges. What took so long? Because we've always been here.
There was a
happily.
Mix. Go ahead.
Sorry, we're happily ready to give you our money, but you're not making anything for us. So, what's the tea? What happened?
I'll tell you what happened. Rihanna happened, and they're like, she's taking the market, so hey, we need to do something. Yep. Oh my God, Rihanna. How could you do this to
right up? And they're probably thinking, we can't let Rihanna win. She can't dominate this platform. And I mean, good for us. At least we're getting some more options. Whatever needs to happen to get more options is great. Be more inclusive, please.
Exactly. And it's not just Rihanna, because there's so many women of color who have their own independent labels and brands of makeup. We need to start exploring those. There are so many women, I think there's one in the UK, MDM Flo. She started in her parents' garage, and she has a wicked line of makeup for women of shade. And it's like, yes, we have color out there that, for us, made by us. And I think that's very important.
And that's what I want Qweens to be. I don't want to just highlight, people who are already famous, because they're already getting the exposure. I don't need to add to that. I'd rather people who are up and coming and just starting their own thing. And that's why I also wrote the self-made article, to show that there are people out here who have been doing it, who are self-made, and they're women of color creating products for women of color. And that's awesome. So why not celebrate them instead of, other brands who didn't necessarily view us as their clientele for so long? Why would I give them more money?
Exactly. So when we look at, you're creating this magazine, it's something still in its infancy. My question to you is, how have you started to deal, or if you've noticed, your imposter syndrome around what you do and what you put out in the world? How do you deal with it?
I don't really I don't know. I just kind of put out what I think, like what I know that I can write about, what I know that I have a voice about. Because I don't like writing about things that I haven't at least done a little bit of research in. Because I think that's what's going on in journalism these days. That people are just writing stories they don't really know anything about, just so they can continue creating content. I don't want that. I want to make sure that I'm taking my time with my content. So I'm sorry, issue 2 may not come out for a few years because I want to make sure that it's worthy and it's important stuff. It's not just I need to get something out quickly. I just want to generate more content over and over and over and over again. No, I want it to be content that's worthwhile and that can stand the test of time. So if someone's reading it now and later, they can be like, oh yeah, true. I can relate to that. I also want to just create good content that I can be proud of. And I can't be proud of something that only took me a day to come up with and write in like an hour. Like I know myself, I will not be proud of that. So that's kind of how I see it, that I'm not going to put something out there unless I know for a fact that I've done my very best at creating it.
And I think kudos to you for that, because we need more people to stand by what they're creating and actually, and this, even though we've said about excellence, but actually say, I am putting something in the world because I want it to stand the test of time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, that's absolutely important. So looking at the industry, when we think about beauty, because there is, you're out in Toronto, I've been to Toronto, I've been to a few places, and when you look at commercials and you can almost count on your finger how many times a dark woman of color will appear, how many times a dark woman of color with her own hair appears, and if she does, she's either cast as angry, sullen, she doesn't seem happy. It's really weird. What do you think needs to happen for us to demand more representation of all of us?
Honestly, create your own. Like, do your own thing. I know it sounds like, how can I just start something on my own without any help? Because let's be honest, how long has any form of media been around? It's been around for over 50 years. And if we're still having these issues today, clearly the people we've been relying on aren't checking for us. So might as well just start our own thing and know that we're putting out content there that we know will represent us in the best light and not just make us the sidekick or the funny friend or the girl who's unhappy with her natural hair so she has to straighten it every day and have heat damage, or the one idea of natural hair is like the perfectly defined curls that bounce and are past your shoulders. No.
Yes.
Create your own platform that you know will represent people who look like you and yourself in the best light and in a truthful way as well as humans.
I love that. And I think, and I'm going to circle back to Black Panther because that movie just, it did something to me. I think the part of the movie that got me was when Nkoye took off her wig and flung it. I was like,
yes.
I was like,
that will
sis,
always be my favorite part.
Okoye. I was like, sis, oh my God.
Yes, because wigs can really get in the way if you're trying to do your job. Oh my goodness. Better take that wig off.
She's like, I have ass to kick. I don't need to worry about these wigs. Go and let me do it.
Exactly. And that will always be an image that's going to be burned in my mind because I'm going to be like, anytime I think about going out and leaving the house, I'm like, oh, my hair, is it perfect? Is it this? Is it that? I'm like, okay, you know what? Enough of this. Perfection isn't real. My hair is the way it's meant to be today.
Yes.
And that's fine.
And there's power of that. There's power from getting to that space. Now, my question for you, looking at your journey, how far you've come, what will be the one thing you will tell any young woman or not so young woman who wants to follow in this footstep that you're blazing here? What would you tell them? What would your advice be?
Make sure this is what you want. And I think that it's kind of universal. Just make sure this is something that you want, because I haven't gotten any negative feedback yet. And this might sound a little narcissistic, but I'm trying to be realistic. I'm probably going to have to deal with that at some point in my career, obviously. Someone's going to come up to me and be like, why are you telling these stories? Because I think that it's important and because I have a passion for this. And I know that no matter what, I will keep going forward. So if it's something that you're not really passionate about, don't do it, because you're going to be easily swayed. Once you reach that one moment of creative block, it's going to be the end. No, it needs to be something that you're very passionate about and that you're very, like, that you find it very important, and something that you know you can use your voice for. Yeah, that's what I would say.
All right, brilliant. Who would you want to see featured on the cover of Queen?
Oh, that's a great question. You know who I love? Yvonne Orji. I would love to just sit down and talk to her. Okay. So I would love to feature her. Yeah, that's probably like the person that I'd want to speak to, because there's something about her. There's something about her that I'm just like, you're very interesting. I just want to have a conversation with you. So I'd love to feature her on the cover.
Okay, so let's put that out there, because, you never know who might be listening.
Exactly.
And if she does come on and is featured, just remember us little people here. Just remember us.
Always. Always.
Okay, so we've come to that time of the show where we talk about our So Loud moment of the week. What is your So Loud moment?
I'm gonna say myself.
Ooh.
Because many people don't know this, but I'm doing Queens all by myself. It's just me, myself, and I. And so just seeing the growth in a year alone, I am so proud. And I'm so thankful to everyone who's clicked on the page, who's liked anything, who's even commented, who's read any of the work that I've put out there. Yeah, I'm going to pat myself on the back, because sometimes I forget to do that. Sometimes we all forget to do that. And it's good to take a moment and be proud.
You know what? You're the first person. I've been doing this show for almost 2 years. You're the first person that's come out that said,
oh, God.
me. I am patting me on the back. Oh my God, you deserve all the rounds of applause. And here they are, the rounds of applause.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for bringing me on here. This is amazing. Thank you so much. Your platform is awesome.
Thank you.
I think this is something that we need as well. Like, yes, look at two queens killing it, doing our thing, forging the way for representation for the future generations and other people to be inspired. Yeah. It's amazing.
Exactly. And it actually breaks a couple of stereotypes. Oh, we don't work well together. Da. We never support. So, in fact, the fact that this interview managed to happen because of a queen herself.
Yes.
Queens support queens. And so I will always support the Queen Magazine. So, yes.
Thank you. I will always support Shine Out Loud show. Always.
Thank you. And we will always support Ronke Lawal of Ariata PR, so yes.
Yes. Honestly, if you are looking for PR help, that's the place to go.
You know what? I think she should just hurry up and sponsor the show, because basically, no, I'm being dead serious. I have a lot of I have her to thank for a lot of amazing guests on the show.
Oh, yeah.
And you are one of them. So she is just, if you want representation with someone who is interested in your goal and you doing amazingly, she's your girl.
Oh, yes. Yes. She is definitely the person that helped me kick Queens into high gear and blaze forward. So all thanks to her and for connecting us.
She's just awesome. So yes, we're part of the Ronke Lawal fan club, and there are many people who are fans of her.
Yes.
So let's bring it back to Queen Magazine and talking about, beauty and the standards. And I think there is now mold breaking around the idea that beauty is a particular standard and we must have certain things. So, looking at the magazine, what is the next thing that you are going to do to actually say, here we are? When we are talking about beauty, it's inclusive because.
The next thing, just want to keep writing stories, really, that show that, that beauty comes in all different shapes and forms and shades, and it's worth celebrating, I think with Queen of the Week, I'm starting to do that a little bit by showing different women doing their thing in different industries.
Yes.
And all beautiful women, and yeah, that's kind of what's next. What's next is just creating more content to just show so people can see, like visually, like, okay, I get what you're saying. I get that the message is that we're all beautiful and we all deserve the praise.
That's actually powerful, and we need more messages like that. We need more messages on our social media, especially because that's where we're consuming content. We need more messages that says we are different, but it's okay. We have great days and bad days, it's okay. We need more of those powerful messages, and we need more women like you paving that way to say, hey, it's okay.
We sure do.
So with the magazine being a full-time endeavor, the fact that you are in your final year of your journalism degree, how do you make time to take care of yourself? What are your practices?
I walk a lot. Like, I purposely park the furthest away from campus anytime I'm on campus, just so I can walk 30 minutes, just so it kind of clears my head. Okay. Even though you usually catch me thinking about stuff that I'm doing for Queens, it's just good to be in nature and just breathing fresh air, and just it kind of just relaxes me a little bit, because I find I've been told I can be very tense and I hold a lot of tension.
Okay.
So just being a little bit physical, watching TV shows, Netflix, and chilling by myself. It's just taking time away from people, because a lot of the work that I do involves me interacting with and communicating with people constantly,
right,
and constantly being connected. So just disconnecting myself for a little bit. And I always make sure that after 6 p.m. every single day, that's it, that's done. I don't work anymore. Otherwise, I turn into a workaholic and I don't sleep and I don't take care of myself and I don't eat, and that's never healthy. So it's just setting boundaries for myself and sticking within those boundaries and saying, okay, you know what? You've done a lot today. Well done. We can pick it back up tomorrow.
Okay. And that's really powerful. And I think it's something that all of us needs to learn to incorporate, that we need more of our own life in our life.
Yes.
So let's look at this. We have come to this, you are a student. You are creating this magazine that is going to leave a legacy. What books are you reading, or what was the last book that you read that inspired you?
The last book, the book that I'm currently reading is Children of Blood and Bones by Toni Adeyemi. She's a Nigerian author, Nigerian-American, and the reason it inspired me so much was because I've never seen a book that looks at my culture, because I'm of Yoruba heritage, mm-hmm. and represents it in a different way. Right. Like, it's completely different from anything I've ever seen. It's something that I don't even know. Myself as a Yoruba woman, I didn't even know that I don't know anything about the Orishas or anything of, like, our ancestors or anything. And it's just interesting seeing it in kind of like a modern sense a little bit. Oh. It's, yeah.
I need to go find this book, because the Orishas and that fascinates me. And if you really want to be old as well, you should look for the Brazilian graphic animator who has created a comic based on the Orishas.
Really? Ooh,
yes. Yeah. So you get to see Shango, Oya, or Batala as superheroes.
I've also been reading the Bible. That's inspiration for me as well. You know, I get my daily dose of God's word, which is great and keeps me moving forward as well.
Awesome. Okay, so the Bible and Children of Blood and Bones. Okay.
Yes.
All right, so let me ask you now, I have two more questions for you, and then we'll wrap up. But How do you personally deal with, you will have setbacks, we all do, but how do you personally recover from your setbacks?
It's just taking time to kind of evaluate how I got to that point. Like, what was it that happened that made me get to a point where I'm like, okay, I can't do anything. And then it's like, okay, if I can pinpoint it, then I'm like, okay, let's work on that. It's just taking time because, we can't do everything at once, 24/7. It's tiring. So you do really need to take a break, whether that's a week or a month. I took like a 4-month break from Qweens just to gather myself and refigure it, and regroup and be like, okay, what is it exactly I want this platform to be?
Right.
And I think a lot of people think that there's not enough time. Like, I have to keep going. I can't take this break. No, the break will do wonders, because now that I've taken that break, I know exactly what I'm going to keep doing, and I'm blazing forward, and I'm going to keep pushing, and I know exactly what I'm doing, and I'm not wasting time thinking, oh no, I'm wasting time.
Right. You know what? That's a powerful concept, and I think, we need to take those breaks. So I love that idea. So my final question: what does Queen Magazine need next? Because I've been to your website, and you were doing a call out for, input. What does Queen Magazine need next?
Anyone who just wants to write. If you have a passion for writing but feel like, oh no, I don't think I can pitch stories to publications out there, Qweens is here for you. Yes, we want as many, I want as many different voices on the page and in the magazine as possible, because I don't want it to just be me. So if you feel that this is something that you're passionate about, the beauty industry, even fashion, and you want to talk about diversity in these industries, and you want to change the conversation with beauty, send an email to queens.magazine@gmail.com, and I would be so excited to work with you guys. I think there are just so many talented writers out there who feel like they're not good enough or whatever, and I'm here to say, nope, you're good enough, and come, and we can work together and build together. And so any creative out there who feels like Qweens is the platform that they'd want to create for, 100% get in touch.
Okay. So I know I said that was the final question, but I lied. So
No worries.
How can people connect with Queen Magazine?
Through social media. All information on Twitter, on Instagram. All links are posted on there. So all links to the website. You can get in contact through the website as well. Okay. But social media will probably be the easiest,
Okay, and so what's your social media handle for Insta and Twitter and the website?
So both handles are at Qweens Magazine, Qweens spelled QWEENS, and the website is queensmagazine.com.
Okay, so folks, you've heard it here. Elizabeth Oloidi wants to hear from you. If you are a budding blogger, writer in the fashion and beauty industry, connect with her, because Queen's Magazine needs you. It needs more representation and more diversity.
Yes.
Okay, this has been so much fun. Thank you for being on the show.
Has. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And who are you featuring next week as the Queen of the Week?
Ronkela Wow will be the next Queen of the Week.
Ooh, that's a very worthy queen to feature.
Yes, she is.
All right, guys. So just a recap: if you want to find out more about Queen's Magazine, hit up the website, and remember the spelling is Qweens magazine.com for the website, and check out her handle on Insta and Twitter. Follow this woman because she's leaving a legacy, and she's saying that beauty is not one shade, is all shades, and darker women need to be included in that conversation.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. So, folks, it's the end of the show, and we will catch you this time. No, actually, we'll catch you Wednesday at our usual time at 8 p.m. Love to hear from you guys. Reach out. Bye.
You've been listening to The Shine Out Loud Show. If you want to connect with us or let us know what you thought of today's show, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Shine Out Show.